Hey everyone, I hope you all had a good weekend. We are on our last lesson in the circles unit. So after this, you guys have a test and then we're done for the rest of the year. I can't believe it. So this topic isn't too difficult, um, but it is new. So just go ahead and follow along with the notes and do your best. Um, so how do I write equations of circles? Um, there's two different types of equations, standard form and general form. Standard form is a lot easier. So the standard form for an equation of a circle is this. It's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay, so this is kind of like vertex form, which is what you learned in algebra last year. So HK is the center, and R stands for radius. Okay, so we're just going to practice identifying the center and drawing the circle. It's not too difficult. Um, in vertex form, you might remember this. The H and the K are negative in the equation, so it kind of makes you feel like it's the opposite of what's there. In number 1, our H is actually -4 and our Y is +2. Okay, so our center is -4, 2, and our radius, well, our radius squared is 25, right? So our radius is 5. We have to take the square root of both sides to find the radius. Okay, so it's always the square root of whatever number is here. So our radius is 5. And so we plot our center, -4, 2. And then I usually draw dots of how far the radius should be. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Okay, so, nope, that didn't work. Come on. Just as a guide of where my circle should be. So I know that's a line that shouldn't be there. I'm not really having very good luck with my pen. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw this circle. Okay, there's my circle, if you can call it that. Let's go ahead and do number 2. So we're given our H is 7 and our K is 0. So our center is at 7, 0. And the radius is the square root of 4. So the radius is 2. So this one should be easier to plot. 7, 0 is here. Okay, our radius is 2. So I'll draw on my dots to where my circle should be and draw the circle. Okay, so you guys can do number 3 and 4. And for now, we are going to move on. So 5 through 12. We are still just identifying the parts of the circle. Number 5, we're going to find H and K. So H is +5 and K is +1. So our center is at 5, 1. And the radius is the square root of 64. So our radius is 8. Okay, let's do number 7. So this is our x term is x plus 0 squared, right? So our h is 0 and k is -10. and they ask for the diameter. So let's go ahead and find the radius first. The radius is the square root of 42.25. 42.25. So the radius is 6.5. And the diameter is going to be twice as big as the radius, so the diameter is 13. Let me just double check my math. Yep. Okay, so on number 9, we have our center at -2, -9, and the circumference. Okay, so let's go ahead and write down our radius. The radius is the square root of 196, which is 14. Okay, so the circumference, guys, that's a formula. Circumference is pi times diameter. So that's pi times 14 times 2, right? Pi times 28 is a number. 28 times 3.14 approximated is 87.92. So I'll just say approximately 87.9. Okay. So in number 11, we're going to do the center is at +3, -4. And they asked for the area. So our radius is the square root of 81. The radius is 9. Okay. And area is pi times radius squared. So that's pi times 81. Right? 9 squared is 81. 3.14 times 81 is 254.34. Okay, so you guys can practice 6 through 12 on your own. The general form equation of a circle, guys, is kind of a nightmare. When you're given the formula in general form, you usually try to convert it to standard form, which is what we've been doing, just because it's a lot easier and more helpful when you are solving problems with circles. So the general form is ax squared plus by squared. Let me see what's going on with my pen. Maybe if I scroll down, this will be better. Okay. So ax squared, that's better, plus by squared plus cx, c times x, plus d times y, plus e equals 0. Okay, so I don't think that you're going to have to do this week, but you might have to do it on the test. So it's good to know how to do it. So I'm going to show it to you once, and you're going to fill it out with me, and then hopefully you don't have to do it again. So we are converting from general form to standard form with the process called completing the square. And I'm sure you remember this from algebra last year. So our goal is standard form. So step 1 is to take our equation of a circle in general form and go ahead and start completing the square process. So we're going to group the x terms together and then group the y terms together. So rewriting this as x squared minus 2x plus y squared plus 6y equals, because we're adding 6 to both sides, we want the 6 on the right, equals 6. Okay, and this is a 6. Okay, so the completing the square is you take half of the linear term or the b term, and you square it. So that is this. So we're going to rewrite this as x squared minus 2x. And we're going to take half of 2, half of negative 2, which is negative 1, and we're going to square it and add it to both sides. So negative 1 squared is positive 1. So we have now completed the square, right? We have to add 1 to this side as well. And I'm just going to write the rest of the equation down. 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing for the y terms. So looking at this number, we take half of 6, which is 3, and square it and add it to both sides. So just rewriting the first half, x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus y squared plus 6y plus 3 squared is 9 equals 7 plus 9, 16. Okay, so we completed the square for the x and y terms. We've created two perfect square trinomials. Rewrite them in factored form as squared binomials. So what does x squared minus 2x plus 1 factor to? Okay, well, it's a perfect square trinomial, so it becomes x minus 1 squared. Okay, and this factors to y, and this is positive, so plus 3 squared equals 16. Okay, so we got it into standard form. Perfect. We just identify the center and radius now. So our center, right, we've been doing that all throughout this lesson so far. Our center is going to be 1, negative 3, and our radius is 4. Okay. Hopefully you can follow that, and if you can't, there's lots of videos online that will help you. Okay. So we are going to rewrite the equation for a circle in standard form. That's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals radius squared, where hk is the center and r is the radius. Okay, so write each equation in standard form with the given information. All right, who's tired of orange? Let's try a different color. So, writing it, h minus k squared plus y minus, or x minus, guys, I screwed up. So let's do x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals radius squared. Okay, so our h is 5, our y is 3, and our radius is 2, and 2 squared is 4. Okay, let's do it again. Okay. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And we're just going to plug in our negative 2, plug in our negative 11, and 18. Our diameter is 18. Ooh, they tried to trick me. So our radius is 9. So the 9 squared is 81. Okay, so let's rewrite it so it looks better. That's x plus 2 squared plus y plus 11 squared equals 81. All right, how about number 5? Do you guys want to skip this step? So this becomes x plus 4 squared plus y minus 0 squared. So that would be just y squared equals the square root of 47 squared, right? Is just 47. Okay, let's go ahead and do number 7 and 9. Given the center and circumference and area. All right. Well, we can at least do the first part pretty easily because they give us the center. That is x minus negative 1. That's plus 1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals, okay, so they give us circumference is 6 pi. Circumference is pi times diameter. Circumference is 6 pi. So from this formula, we get to say that the diameter is 6. So our radius is 3, right? And 3 squared is 9. Hopefully I didn't do that too fast. Okay, number 9. X minus negative 8 squared plus y minus negative 11 squared equals, area is 16 pi. Area equals pi radius squared. So that is, area is 16 is 4 squared, right? So that's pi times 4 squared. Okay, so what's my radius? Radius is 4. So 4 squared is 16. Okay. What about if they give you a graph? All right, well, I think these are easy, right? We're just going to count to find the center. So I'm going to pick these 2 points. And you could use distance formula, but we don't need to. Can you see the center? Okay, between each of these points is 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. So halfway is 5. Here's my center. Is at 3, negative 2. And my radius is 5. Right, we counted that. The radius is 5. I need to scroll down because I'm running out of room. So we're going to write the equation of the circle given that. So that is x minus 3 squared plus y minus negative 2. So that's plus 2 squared equals 5 squared, 25. All right, you guys can do 12 on your own. These are a lot of notes. Sorry, guys, it's a long one. Okay, who remembers the distance formula? Distance equals the square root of the difference of the x's, x2 minus x1 squared plus the difference of the y's, y2 minus y1 squared. Midpoint formula. What was midpoint? Do you remember? Midpoint is the average of the x values and the average of the y values. So midpoint, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay, so I assume we're going to have to use this. So number 13 says the center is at 9, 10, and the point on the circle is 7, 4. So let's go ahead and find the radius. If we find the distance between the 2 points, then we can plug in. Okay, they already gave us the center, so this isn't too bad. So the radius is 9 minus 7 squared plus 10 minus 4 squared. That is 2 squared plus 6 squared. 2 squared is 4. 6 squared is 36. So that is the square root of 40. So my radius is the square root of 40. Okay. I'm going to just rewrite this. Plugging it into the circle formula, that would be x minus 9 squared plus y minus 10 squared equals, what's the square root of 40 squared? 40. Let's do another one. It's good practice. Okay. Finding the distance, finding the radius. 2 minus 1 squared plus negative 6 minus 10 squared. Square root of 1 squared plus negative 16 squared. That's 1 plus 16 squared is 256. That's 257. So square root of 257 is our radius. Plugging it into the circle formula. X minus 2 squared plus y minus negative 6, so that's y plus 6 squared, equals square root of 257 squared, which is 257. Alright, not too bad. So what if you give you endpoints of a diameter? Then you have to find the center, obviously. Which is good. I like midpoint formula better. So, number 17, we're going to do midpoint is negative 14 plus a negative 10 divided by 2, and 1 plus 9 divided by 2. Negative 20, 4 divided by 2 is negative 12, right? 10 divided by 2 is 5. So this is our center. Oh, we still have to find the radius, darn it. Okay, so we just pick a coordinate. And I'm going to just pick this one, because why not? Let's pick the coordinate, and we're going to find the radius. So distance formula again. Square root of negative 14 minus 12 squared minus negative 12 is plus 12 plus 1 minus 5 squared, 2 squared, and negative 4 squared. It's the square root of 20. Alright, so not too bad. And then last step, plugging it in to the circle formula. X minus negative 14. So that's x plus 14 squared plus y minus 1. Sorry, I'm choosing the wrong coordinate. This is my center. Okay, glad I realized that now. Better sooner than later, right? So this is circle formula x minus negative 12 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals the square root of 20 squared, which is 20. All right. So not too bad mathematically. Just 3 steps. Let's do it again. All right, we're going to find the midpoint, which is the center. 6 plus negative 4 divided by 2. And negative 16 plus 8 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. So this is my center. I'll put in coordinates. Maybe I'll won't forget it next time. Okay. And which coordinate should we pick? This one again. So distance, or the radius. Six minus 1 squared plus negative 16 plus 4 squared. Okay. 5 squared is 25. And 12 squared. Negative 12 squared is 144. So it's a square root of 169, which simplifies to 13. Okay, almost done. So here's my center. X minus 1 squared plus y minus negative 4, so y plus 4 squared equals 13 squared, which is 169. Okay, those were tedious notes, but we made it, and hopefully it wasn't too bad for you. It wasn't too bad for me. Go ahead and do the rest. If you have any questions, let me know. I miss you guys. Bye.